System requirements for new games 2023. Computer games have become a popular pastime for most users. But to enjoy the game to the fullest, you need to make sure that your computer meets all the requirements of the game. System requirements for games can vary greatly. They depend on the graphics processing, the type of game, multiplayer options, physics, and other aspects. If the system requirements do not match, the computer may not run the game at all or run with lags and skips, which will significantly limit the gaming experience. In this, we will tell you what operating systems, processors, graphics cards, and other components are required for 2021 games. This information will help you choose the right hardware and allow you to enjoy your favorite games at maximum graphics settings and at flawless speeds. The amount of RAM also needs to be considered. Many games require at least 8 GB or even 16 GB of RAM to run stably. New games also require a significant amount of hard drive space. Therefore, if you are going to install multiple games, the best solution is to use a drive of at least 500 GB. Despite the high requirements, it is important to understand that a powerful enough gaming computer is an investment in the fun of gaming. Gaming processes become more enjoyable and comfortable on a decently chosen configuration. Operating system. An important element when choosing a computer for gaming is the operating system. Today, the most popular operating system on your PC is Windows. Games are usually written for this operating system, and many games do not work on other operating systems. For PC games, you can also choose between the 32-bit and 64-bit versions of the operating system, although most games run on both versions. The 64-bit OS is preferred because it can use more RAM and provides better system performance. Besides Windows, there are also other operating systems on the market, such as macOS and Linux. macOS is especially popular among Apple device users, and Linux among those who prefer a more free approach to using a PC. Processor. The processor is the brain of the computer and is responsible for data processing and computation. The level of processor performance directly affects gaming performance. To play modern games comfortably, you need a processor with sufficient power. On average, it is recommended to use processors with a clock frequency of 3.5 GHz. At least for cores and support hyper-threading or multi-threading technology. Processor performance affects things like game frame rates, graphics settings, and response times. It is also important to keep in mind that the processor is not the only device in the system that affects the performance of the game. For optimal game performance, you may need a combination of a powerful processor, RAM, and graphics card. Some video game manufacturers specify the minimum and recommended computer configuration you should have for gaming. This list usually indicates the type and parameters of the processor that allows you to run the game and provide a comfortable gaming experience. Keep in mind that the minimum computer requirements do not guarantee stable operation of the game, but only allow to run it on the device. Using a modern processor with high performance can provide a smooth gameplay of modern games. However, you should keep in mind that modern games also require high performance of other components such as video card and RAM. RAM is one of the key components of a computer to play modern games comfortably. The more RAM, the less likely it is that the game will hang or slow down. For modern games, it is recommended to have at least 8 GB of RAM, but it is better to have 16 GB or more. Without this, players risk simply not getting the full picture. The hardware will not be able to handle all graphics settings and frame rates. In addition to the amount of RAM, its frequency is also important. RAM frequency affects how fast information is read and written. As a rule of thumb, it is recommended to use RAM with a frequency of at least 2400 MHz. If you plan to play big games at high-quality graphics, you need to pay attention to other components of your computer, video card, processor, and so on. Video card. The graphics card is one of the most important components in a gaming computer. It is responsible for processing and displaying images on the screen. A more powerful graphics card provides faster frame rates, more detailed graphics, and less frills to play modern games comfortably. We recommend a GeForce GTX 1660 or Radeon RX 580 graphics card at least. If you plan to play games at highest possible settings, you'll need a more powerful graphics card, such as GeForce RTX 3060 or Radeon RX 6800. It is also worth paying attention to the amount of video memory installed on the video card. The more video memory, the better it can handle more complex graphics and a large number of textures, models, and effects generally. Having 8 GB of video memory is considered sufficient for most games in 2021 and 2023. The main characteristics to look at when buying a graphics card: power core frequency, number of CUDA cores, amount of video memory, the memory bus size, technology support e.g. ray tracing, size and quietness if you buy it for a compact or quiet PC. Hard drive. The hard disk is one of the most important components of a gaming computer. It is responsible for storing game files and reading them quickly. When choosing a hard drive for a gaming computer, you should pay attention to its capacity, rotation speed, and connection interface. The volume of the hard drive should be enough to install all the games you want, and you should also take into account that some games take up a lot of space. The spin speed of the hard drive is also an important parameter. The higher the speed, the faster the computer will load the game, which will allow you to start playing faster. Different types of hard drives are available with different connection interfaces, such as SATA and NVMe. NVMe is the faster interface, which will allow games to load even faster. However, not all motherboards support NVMe. In general, in order to install games and play them without lag, a hard drive for a gaming computer should have enough capacity, a high spin speed, and an appropriate connection interface. Modern games and requirements. Modern games are becoming more and more realistic and demanding to the iron computer. If not so long ago to play computer games was enough even a weak laptop, today the requirements have increased significantly. To play comfortably in today's games, you need a powerful processor and video card, enough RAM, and free space on your hard drive. Computer requirements for different games can vary significantly, so before you buy a game, you should check the system requirements and make sure that your computer meets them. Also, you should remember that the system requirements for multiplayer games may differ from those for single-player games, and if you want to enjoy the games to the fullest, be sure to keep an eye on your computer's specs and update them as needed.